Welcome in. It is Jeffrey time in Studio Day. Heffrey, I'd like to start with an apology to the entire state of Ohio. Joe Burrow said that he'll show up if the Bengals pick him. He says that for now, though. I just want you guys to know that. All right, today, my first topic. And remember, every day, I will take a bunch of topics out of the comments on the videos. So check the YouTube page, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh. Subscribe and leave a comment with what you want to talk about tomorrow. And, of course, get on 1053thefan.com every day. Now, I want to start today. There is news out of the Combine. We got player interviews going on right now, so there's a lot of things to get to. But I want to start off with a different conversation, one about the Cowboys, and where I think they've got a sneaky need, and they need to be open to the idea of picking a player at a position we haven't talked about enough, and that is linebacker. I'm worried about Leighton Vander Esch. I'm just going to tell you that. I'm also worried about Jalen Smith, just in terms of I don't know if he realizes he didn't have a great year last year, but he didn't have a real good year last year. I know he's locked in and he's going to be here, but Leighton Vander Esch, when they first announced that he was going to have a surgery, he was going to be ready for all offseason activities and blah, 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 blah. But now, as of yesterday, Stephen Jones is saying, well, you know, he'll be ready for training camp. And so now we're talking about a neck injury where they're dancing around with when he'll be ready. And so I worry about it. Sean Lee's a free agent. Joe Thomas is a free agent. Luke Gifford's a super young guy who you don't really know what you have. So the idea of linebacker needs to be in our mind as well, which is unfortunate because what that really means is the Cowboys have needs basically everywhere except quarterback, and I know some of you think they need a quarterback, running back, and offensive line. And they do need offensive line. They need a swing tackle. Cam Fleming wasn't good enough a year ago, but they have needs pretty much everywhere on the team. Do they need corners? Yep. Do they need a safety? Yep. Do they need at least one linebacker? Yep. D-tackle? Yep. Defensive end? Yep. Wide receiver? Yep. Tight end? Yep. They need lots. The Cowboys need a lot. But we hadn't talked about linebacker, so I wanted to jump on that today. So what I'm going to give you is my top 5 linebackers in the 2020 NFL Draft, and where I think they'll be selected, or where you'd have to select them if you wanted to pick a linebacker. And I get that this is a little bit squirrely because most people wouldn't feel great if they drafted a linebacker at 17, because you'd say, well, wait a minute, there's a first-round pick out there, and there's a $12 million man out there next to him, and so what are we doing? And if it's the best available player, though, I could get on board with it because I do. I worry about both the linebackers. So, without further ado, the top linebacker in the 2020 draft for me is Isaiah Simmons. Now, you can't have him. That's the Clemson linebacker / safety / slot corner / played a few snaps at outside corner. He's a freak show. He's incredible. Coverage, play the run like the wind, doesn't matter. He plays some man coverage in the slot, but he's a 6'4", 230-pound guy. He'll play linebacker in the NFL, and he's going to be awesome at it. He's everything you look for in a current NFL linebacker. But you can't have him because he's going to go in the top 10. So, the next group of linebackers, and where this gets interesting, and I'll tell you what, my 5th linebacker is probably the one I'm most interested in for the Cowboys because of where maybe you could get him. But my 2nd linebacker at the moment, and these 3 guys are really bunched together for me, but Zach Bond, Wisconsin. So he's about a 240-pounder. He played the same role that TJ Watt did at Wisconsin, which is as a 3-4 team, sort of an overhang linebacker where if they play a spread team like Ohio State, sometimes he would go out over the slot and he would line up out there. But for the most part, they wanted him on the edge and rushing the quarterback. But you see enough of him as an athlete where I think what you would do is you would let him do everything. He would play linebacker for, let's just say, for the Cowboys. He would play linebacker for you. In base, when you have 3 linebackers on the field, he could play Sam. He could play Mike. He could play Will. He could play any linebacker spot. And then you would have on passing downs, send him after the passer. Whether it's as a blitzer, whether you want to line him up at right defensive end, whatever. But Bond is one of those guys that I don't know if teams are going to be comfortable. Think about the Cowboys with TJ Watt. They didn't think he could put his hand on the ground. Well, Bond's smaller than TJ Watt was, so they probably will assume the same about him. So you call him a linebacker. And he's athletic enough for it. He can run. It's a little bit of a projection, though, because here I'd be asking him to do something a little different than what he did in college. My third linebacker, and 3 and 4 are very close with 2. They're all very close. Patrick Queen, LSU. The only thing I don't love about Patrick Queen is I don't think he's a great run player. Now, if you're talking sideline to sideline, he can run like the wind, and he'll make a lot of plays. But when you're talking about things coming at him and offensive linemen in the way, I think he has big-time struggles with take on and getting himself clean from blockers. But the modern linebacker coverage trumps run defense because teams pass more than they run. Passing game is what determines who wins and loses games, more so than the running game. So Patrick Queen, LSU, great athlete. He'll be a great cover guy. He can grow and evolve as a run player. He is small. He's small for a linebacker. So part of his struggling in the run game, and I say struggling, that's a relative term, struggling compared to Isaiah Simmons. And part of that is going to be his size, where what are you going to do with that frame to keep offensive linemen off of you? Maybe you just have to do a better job of avoiding him, but he's a really, really good player. And these are all guys in my top 40, probably top 30. I've got Bond, Patrick Queen, and my next linebacker as 1-2 grades, first, second round. Kenneth Murray, Oklahoma, is my next one, where him and Patrick Queen are both just phenomenal athletes. You watch them go sideline to sideline and chase down plays, and they should have great ability and coverage with their athleticism. Murray's deal is you just got to dial it back a little bit. We just got to dial him back a little bit. He will overrun plays. He's hyper aggressive, and you've got to dial it down just a little bit to be a more dependable tackler. But Isaiah Simmons, Zach Bond, Patrick Queen, Kenneth Murray. My fifth linebacker, graded at the top of the second round, Akeem Davis Gaither, Appalachian State. Now, he's listed at 219 pounds. I haven't seen his combine weight this morning, but phenomenal athlete. Now, the way that they play him is sort of as an overhang defender. So you get your defensive line, and then you'll have Davis Gaither outside of all of that, just chasing everywhere and chasing the ball. But, man, the physical traits are outstanding. His ability to run down plays from the backside, his ability to make blockers miss and just be slippery. The athleticism should translate to being able to cover. Akeem Davis Gaither is my sneaky linebacker for the Cowboys. I don't know if they would want to pick an App State guy where they would have to pick him. I don't know. Will McClay might prefer the big school guys. But that's my guy. Actually, my next linebacker is Malik. I believe I just put his last name on my board. Malik Harrison, Ohio State, but I've got him behind Davis Gaither. So I'm trying to get the App State guy at 51. That's a linebacker pick for the Cowboys because linebacker is a sneaky need. So my top 5 linebackers, where you might need to pick them. You could move around in this draft maybe, but Patrick Queen, Kenneth Murray, Zach Bond, I could see all of them going in the first round. And once again, we're in a spot. Do I want to pick any of them at 17? Not necessarily. So let's move around. Let's move down in this draft. Let's stack up some picks and then go get them. Let me see here. Oh, and I already said that Joe Burrow said that he'd go to Cincy, right? Whatever. Cowboys have a official interview scheduled with my guy Michael Pittman, the wide receiver from USC. He could end up being my dream guy where what happened with Michael Gallup, where it's my second-round receiver that you get into the middle of the third round, and he's available, and you go, ooh, please, please, please. Michael Pittman, USC receiver, 6'4", 215, 220 pounds, good route runner, great movement skills for his size, high points the ball, tracks the ball. I like Michael Pittman. Not great after the catch, but everything else about his game I really like. Jeff, your top 3 wide receivers for each round from King EB. First round, Jerry Jeudy. Well, CeeDee Lamb first, then Jerry Jeudy, then Henry Ruggs. Although Jerry Jeudy, I don't know what you're doing today, Jerry. If you just, sometimes you don't really know what to say about something. Jerry Jeudy's interview today, that was interesting. But I love all 3 of them. Top 3 receivers for the second round. Let's see. I guess that would be Jalen Reagor, even though I've got him kind of as a first rounder. Jalen Reagor, T. Higgins, Clemson, Laviska Shenault, Colorado. And then third round, my top 3 guys would be Michael Pittman Jr., USC, Denzel Mims, Baylor. These are all second round grades, but I'm just, because my third round is actually Justin Jefferson, LSU, KJ Hamler of Penn State, and maybe Antonio Gandy Golden at Liberty. I'll just read you down a list of my receivers. How about that? Lamb, Judy, Ruggs, Reagor, first round. Second round, T. Higgins, Laviska Shenault, Michael Pittman, Denzel Mims. Is that Jawan Jennings? God, I've got Jawan Jennings really high, don't I? And Brandon Ayuk. Then Justin Jefferson, this third round. KJ Hamler. Who's Johnson? So many people have the same names. Tyler Johnson I have later. Johnson, they're in the third. Now, who is on my board? Gandy Golden. Edwards, the South Carolina kid. KJ Hill, there at Ohio State. That's my wide receivers. Tyler Johnson, Devin Duvernay, James Prochet, Colin Johnson. There's a lot of receivers in this draft. Let's see here. I wish Chase Young was participating in the combine, from Scott McBride. Some guys have nothing to gain and everything to lose. That 100% applies to Chase Young, so don't worry about it. Don't work out. Cody Kingery. I'd honestly like to see us take Fromm in the third if for some reason he makes it that far. We've needed a decent backup for like 20 years. If you took Jake Fromm in the third round, I also would be happy. I think Jake Fromm's going to be a guy that in the NFL, he won't get drafted real high. He's got even smaller hands than Burrow. 8 7/8. My hands got to be bigger than that. 8 7/8, but I don't know. But that's a quarterback that you can trust. He's not going to risk the ball. He's accurate. He can read a defense. I'd take Jake Fromm as a backup. Hey, Jeff, this is Daniel Golightly. Do you think the NFL will move the combine around to different states in the future to draw more fans to the combine? I don't know. I've been to the combine in Indy multiple times, and I really like it. And I think the teams like the setup. You got the hospitals nearby where you can do all the physicals and all that stuff. I don't know. I think they've established that everybody really likes it there, but you can't put anything past the NFL. They'll do anything for ratings, anything for eyeballs, anything for news and for money. So maybe. Michael, are you able to trade players on the transition tag? I actually learned that last week. Yes. Brian Broaddus told me yes. You can trade guys on the transition tag. Let's see. Rough Sooners. Would you be more shocked if the Cowboys signed Byron Jones and went wide receiver in the first round, or signed Cooper and trade up to get the corner going top 5? I guess I'd be more surprised if they traded up, because Ohio State's Jeff Okudah, you would have to get in the top 5 or so, and that's a lot for a team that has a lot of needs. So I couldn't see that. But I also can't see him signing Jones, and I do think they're going to keep Cooper. So my answer, I guess, is neither. Let's see. From Jay, what players do you think would be available at 17 to make teams want to trade up with Dallas to get? That's a great question. Teams could trade up 4 if Jordan Love or Justin Herbert is still on the board, Utah State and the Oregon quarterbacks. Teams could trade up if an offensive tackle is available. Could be Andrew Thomas at Georgia, Mekhi Becton at Louisville, Tristan Wirfs at Iowa, or Jedrick Wills at Alabama. Any of the top 4 tackles, if they're available, somebody could come up for one of them. Somebody could come up for Henry Ruggs if he's available, or one of the other top 3 receivers if they're available. Maybe Javon Kinlaw, but just take the guy. If there's a guy that you're like, oh, people are going to want to come get him, just pick him. Pick the guy. Let me see here. Between Kinlaw, Ruggs, Reagor, Delpit, Xavier McKinney, and AJ Epinesa, who is the most sure pick of this group? This is from Kevin. Not highest upside. Thanks. The surest pick. Well, I think Javon Kinlaw, if his knee gets a clean bill of health, is a pretty sure pick. I think Henry Ruggs is a pretty sure pick. AJ Epinesa is a pretty sure pick, and I know you didn't say highest upside, but I want upside in the first round. So if you want to be safe and have upside, I would eliminate the safeties, Delpit and Xavier McKinney. I would eliminate Epinesa. And I'd look at Kenlaw, Ruggs, and maybe Rager. That's what I'd go with. Anthony, how's the tobacco quitting coming along? It's a struggle. It's not coming along. I failed. I'll try again, but I failed. Hurricane Teabag. What are your thoughts on Laviska Shenault? I love him. I don't have him as a first-round player. This is the Colorado wide receiver. He's a local guy from DFW. I don't love him because he's not a polished receiver right now. I feel like he's more of a guy where it's just like, all right, let's figure out how to get the ball to him because he's hell to deal with when he has the ball. So it's wildcat and jet sweep and screens. I don't know about him as a route runner. If he blows up the combine, I think that'll help a lot. And how does he look in the gauntlet drill? And how does he look running different routes? Because I feel like he's an unpolished receiver with tons and tons of ability. Any wide receivers in the draft who could be transformed into tight ends like Darren Waller? Yes. That's from Swaney. Chase Claypool, Notre Dame. I think he bulked up to about 240 for the combine because he knows that. Yeah, look up Chase Claypool at Notre Dame. And, that's getting through a lot there. Ran out of time. I know you guys don't have all day to be watching my stupid video. But thank you. And in the comments, make sure you're leaving something for me to talk about tomorrow. I sure would appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed to the page. Tell your friends. I need you. Come see me on the YouTube page and on 1053thefan.com. All right, I'll catch you guys on the radio.